So today we are going to learn about the pointers, which is the most important point of C programming, and most of the student doesn't understand this concept properly. So today we will have a detailed look on the pointers. Okay, so this is the agenda which we are going to see today. First of all, we will see what is pointer, then we will see what are the different types of pointers, then we will see some of the examples, and then we will see the programs. Okay, so this is the agenda today. So let's discuss about what exactly is the pointer. So a pointer points to the memory location. That is the most basic definition of a pointer. It points to the memory location. A pointer is a variable that stores a memory address. Okay, so whenever we call about a pointer is a variable which can store the address of another variable. So that is what is a pointers. And pointers are very useful for another type of parameter passing, as we know that there are two ways of passing the parameters to the function. One is called by value and another is called by function, or we call it as a call by reference, or we call it as a call by address. Okay, so pointers are used when we are using a call by address or a pass by address, one of the same thing. Okay, and pointers are essential for dynamic memory allocation. So if you want to allocate any memory dynamically to a variable, you will need to use the pointers. Okay, so this is what is the basic introduction of the pointers. Now we will see how to declare the pointer and how to store the address of the address of the variable inside the pointer. Okay, so this is the syntax of a pointer. It's quite simple. First of all, you need to write the data type, then you will need to type identifier, which you also call it as a variable name, and then semicolon. So this is how you create the pointer. So in this example, I have created a simple pointer where I have used integer data type, then asterisk sign, which is a pointer sign, and then I have used a variable as ptr. Okay, so this is what is the declaration of pointer. So some of the students may ask me the question that, sir, this is one way of representing the pointer. What is the another way of declaring the pointer? Because you can see this star is attached to data type, not to the variable. Okay, so both the declarations are valid, so you can write like this also. There is no need to confuse, both the declarations are valid. So even if you attach asterisk sign to data type, it's allowed. Even if you attach that asterisk sign to a variable, it's also allowed. Okay, so this is how you normally create the pointer. Okay, so now let's see the simple program and try to understand how to declare the pointer. So here I am creating integer main function, and here I am declaring integer star ptr. So this is one way of declaring the pointer. I have already told you another way of declaring the pointer. So here we can write like this. So both the declarations are valid. So let's say this is a pointer 1 and this is a pointer 2. Only the sign of this asterisk is different, is at a different location. Okay, so this is how you declare the pointer. Okay, now let's see the next part, which is the most important part. What are the different types of the pointers? So let me tell you, there are basically two types of a pointer. Now the first pointer is type a pointer, and second pointer is untyped pointer. So what is mean by type pointer? So type pointer points to a specific type of a data. What does it means? So here in an example, it is shown that if you are creating an integer kind of pointer, so it can hold the address of integer data types only. What does it means? It means, let's say here you are creating a pointer integer star ptr. So this pointer variable is allowed to hold the address of integer variables only. So if I am creating integer a, so I can write like this, integer a. Okay, so this is a typed pointer. So what is mean by type pointer? Here both the variable, the pointer variables return type is also integer, and the variable whose address you want to store, that is also integer. So this is what you call as a typed pointer. Okay, so here it's mentioned that if you are creating an integer pointer, you can store the address of integer data 1. If you are creating the double pointer, then you can store the address of double data variable. So here if I create a character pointer, let's say I'm creating a character pointer here, let's say its name is pointer 2. So what I can do is I can store the address of c inside the pointer 2. So this is what is a typed pointer. Okay, so here the variable type is also character and the pointer type is also character. So the variable and the pointers return type is same, and its pointer is allowed to hold the similar type of a data address. So that is what is called as a typed pointer. Okay. Now untyped pointer. So what is mean by untyped pointer? It doesn't matter which kind of a variable you are having, you can store any kind of address inside this. That is called as a untyped pointer. So normally it's a generic pointer. This is the concept which you can normally hear when you are learning about pointers. So there is a concept called generic pointer. So generic pointers can hold the address of any data type. Okay, so when I am calling it as a any, so it means a generic. And when you, how you declare the untyped pointer, you normally use the void. Okay, so void doesn't return anything and void doesn't tie to any of the data type. Okay, so that's why you normally use void. So that is what is a untyped pointers. Okay, so these are the two type of pointers. Now what are the two most important symbol when working with the pointers? The first main important symbol is and another is star. Okay, so what exactly this and star is doing? So and variable always stores the address of that variable. Okay, and when you are dealing with the star, it gives you the actual value of the variable. Okay, so what exactly it is, let's see with the program. Okay, so here what I am doing here, let's say I am creating integer pointer, so integer star ptr. Okay, so this is the first symbol which I am using here. And let's say if I am creating a variable integer b is equals to 20. Okay, so here when I am writing b equals to 20, it means b is having b is having a value 20. Okay, so always understand when you declare a variable, always understand when you declare a variable, that variable will always have some memory allocated to it, and there will be a value. Okay, so here the value is 20, and let's assume that its address is 2000. So this is the address. So 2000 will be the address where the value 20 is going to be stored. Okay, so this compiler automatically assigns the address to a variable. So this is how internally it happens. Now when I am writing like this, ptr is equals to ampersand a. So what is the significance of this and is, when I am using the and operator, it deals with the addresses, it deals with the addresses. So the address of a, which is, sorry, here I need to write b. Okay, so here the address of b, what is the address of b? It's 2000. So that will be copied into ptr. So here the value of ptr will be 2000. Okay, and if we want to print this value, what we will do, we will print %d and then we will print ptr. So this is the way we will print the address of ptr. So let's say address of the ptr is, here we are printing the address of the ptr. Okay, and if we want to print the value of a b, then we will need to use star. Okay, so now here I am printing, let's say value of the ptr is. So here I am trying to print the value. So here it's %d because it's integer value, and here I am writing star ptr. Okay, so here I am printing the address which I have copied in ptr, and here I am printing the value. So if we try to run it, we will not get the answer as 2000 because the memory address will be different in this program. Okay, but the value will be 20. So let's try to run the code, and here let's use /n, so we will have a proper output. So here you can see the address of the ptr is, so this is some address which is assigned by the compiler to that variable, and here you will see the value of the ptr. Okay, so it's 20. So always understand, when you are using a star you will get the value, and when you are using the and, you will always get the address of the variable. Okay, and pointers, so here this is the pointer. So ptr, here ptr is a integer type of, here ptr is an integer type of pointer. Okay, here the ptr is an integer type of pointer, so it's storing the address of the integer variable. And when we are using a star ptr, our pointer variable is pointing to the memory address of 2000 and it's printing the value. When I am using only ptr, it's only showing us the address of the b. Okay, so this is what is the significance of using star and operator. Okay, so now what is double pointer? You might have heard this definition, that there are some places where double pointers are used. Before going for the double pointers, let's take a simple example of pointer. Okay, what we will do for understanding in a better way, what we will do, we will perform the addition of two numbers using the pointers. Okay, so we will place somewhat with the pointers. So let's say we are creating a variable. Let's say we have integer a is equals to 10, then we have is equals to integer b is equals to 20. Okay, and we want to perform the addition of these variables using the pointers. Okay, so how to do that? These are the integer variables. So what we will do, we'll create our integer pointer. Then here we will have the second pointer, which will be integer star ptr2. These are the two pointers. What we will do, ptr is equals to ampersand a. So what will happen here, our pointer variable will point to value 10. Okay, so here our pointer variable will point to value 10. Okay, and in the similar way, this is a ptr1, and here it will be ptr2 is equals to ampersand b. So here our pointer variable points to the value 20. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to perform the addition. Okay, so if we want to perform the addition, if we try to do like this, ptr1 plus ptr2, what it will do, it will perform the addition of memory address. It will perform the addition of a memory address. We don't want to perform the addition of a memory address. Okay, we want to perform the addition of the values. Okay, and if you want to fetch the value, as I have already told you that if you want to use the values, you have to use the star. Okay, so what we will do here, we will create a variable, let's say integer c is equals to, so if you want to perform the addition of the values, we will do star ptr1 plus star ptr2. So this will perform the addition of the values. Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to print it. Let's say slash n, addition of these two digits are, so here we will print the value, and the answer is in a c variable. So we will print the c here, and we will return the value. Okay, so here we are going to return the value. So if we try to run it, so here implicit declaration, what is the issue here, p and print f. So here f is missing, so I'm running the code here. So the addition of these two digits are 30. So 10 and 20 is added with each other, and the result is stored in a C. And what will happen if we remove this star from here? What will happen if we try to run it? Let's check what will happen. It will give us an error, invalid operands to binary. So here what exactly we are going to perform here, the addition of the addresses will be performed. Okay, but we don't want like this. So whenever you are using a pointer, if you want to use the value, always understand you have to use the asterisk sign. Okay, so this is how you perform the addition of the values. Okay, so that is as simple as that. Now let's talk about double pointer. If you have understood it properly, now let's see about the double pointer. What exactly is the double pointer? Okay, so here I have given one example. Okay, integer a equals to 50. Initially we have a variable having the value 50. As I already told you, whenever you are creating any variable, the value will be given by user, or it will be given automatically. So here user has given the value 50, and there will be a address, because whenever you are storing any value inside a variable, one memory location will be allocated to it. Okay, so here the variable a equals to 50, and the memory location is given to it 1000. So on a 1000 memory address, there is a variable a whose value is 50. Okay, we have one more variable like integer star ptr, where we are storing the address of this a. Okay, so the value of this pointer, one variable will be the address of this variable a. So what is the address of this variable a? It's 1000. So here pointer 1 will have the value 1000. Okay, because we are storing the value of the a variable address. Okay, so here that's why its value is 1000. All the values are written on the top side, and all the addresses are written on the bottom side. So pointer 1 will have the address of 1000, because we are storing the address of a. And what is the address of a? Address of a is 1000. That's why it's stored here. Okay, and again this variable will also have one memory address. Okay, because that's quite simple, and that's quite basic thing is that whenever you are creating any type of a variable, whether it is integer, whether it is pointer variable, or whether it is any type of a variable, whenever you create a variable and when you are assigning the value to it, it will always be stored into some memory location. Okay, so when we are assigning integer star ptr1 is equals to ampersand a, this ptr1 will also will have some memory address. So that memory address is 2000. Okay, Now in a next line, what you are using, we are using a two pointers, integer star star ptr2. So again we are creating a new variable and we are assigning the value. That value is the address of pointer one variable. Okay, so what will be the address of pointer one variable? It's 2000. So in integer star ptr2 the value will be 2000. Okay, and again this ptr2 will also have one memory address, that is a 3000. So that is what is a double pointer. Double pointer means pointer to pointer. Okay, so here we have a simple question which through these are some of the questions of which we need to find out the answer. So here the first question is, what will be the value of star star ptr2? So here what is expected is, what is the value of star star ptr2? Then what is the value of star ptr1? Then what is the value of a? What is the value of p? What is the value of q? And then what is value of ampersand a? So we have to find out what are these values. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to run this code and we will cross check it with this definition. Okay, so let's we will copy this and we will try to paste it here and we will print it. Okay, we will print it one by one. So here printf, what we want, what is the first thing we want? We want the answer of the value of star star ptr2. Okay, so value of star star ptr2 will be okay. So let me tell you what will be the answer of the star star ptr2. What will be the address, what will be the value of this ptr2? Now here we are used star, so it will come here star. So ultimately on the first star it will come to ptr1 and then we have another star. So we want the value of this ptr2. So ultimately the value of this ptr2 will be 50 because we have used the double pointers here. Okay, so the answer which we are expecting is 50. So let's try to run this code. So here the value of star star ptr2 will be, here what we will do, %d and then we will use star ptr2. Okay, so we will try to run it and let's check the output. So the value of star star ptr2 will be 50 as I told you. Okay, now let's check the value of what is the value of star ptr1. If you can look at the diagram, what will be the value of ptr1? So the value of this ptr1 will be 1000 because this ptr1 is storing the address of a. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to print it now. Value of slash n, the value of ptr1 will be, so here we will have ptr1. Okay, so let's check. See this, the value of ptr1 will be 50 because we are, what we are doing, we are printing the value of ptr1. So here star, when we are using a ptr1 star ptr1, it means what is the value which is available on this address. Okay, so on the address 1000, what is the value available? It's 50. So that's why we got the answer 50. But if we try to print it like this, we will get the address of this a variable. So if I try to print it, we will get the address here. You can see. So this is the address variable of a, address value. So 50, this value is stored on this address. Okay, so this ptr is printing the address of variable a. So if we want to print what is the value which is available on this address, what we need to do, we need to write star here. So here we will write star, so we will get the 50. Okay, now next what we want to check, what is the value of a? Again the value of a will be 50. So here if we want to print it, what will be the value of a? The value of a will be, here we will print a. It's quite simple, the value of a is 50. Okay, so the value of a is 50, quite simple about it. Now what is the value of p? If we try to print the value of p, it will print the address value of, let's say, value of ptr1. So if you try to print it value of ptr1, what it will print? It will print the address value of a. Okay, so we will get the output like this. This is the address where the data is stored. Okay, now if we try to print it, paste, and if I try to print the value of ptr2, what it will print? It will print the memory address. Okay, so this is the memory address. So these are the memory address we are getting. Always understand, when we are using a star, we will get the value. When we are using a normal variable name, we will get the address. Okay, so that is what is the double pointer. Now you can create the double pointers, you can use the single pointers, it's up to you. According to the application which you are developing, it will vary. Okay, so that is what is a double pointer. Now let's come to the next point, which is a dangling pointer. This is the most important point related to pointer. So what exactly means of a dangling pointer? A pointer pointing to a memory location that has been deleted or freed is called as a dangling pointer. So dangling pointer, what exactly it means? It's pointing to some memory location which is not available. It's pointing to some memory location which is free or which is deleted, so it will be of no use. So that is what you call as a dangling pointer. Okay, so now let's see this example. Now, as you know that if you want to allocate any memory dynamically, you normally use the memory allocation function like malloc. Okay, so here the code is given. If you can look at this code, you will see there is one pointer variable, and here the malloc function is used, and the size of integer is allocated to this pointer variable ptr. Okay, so whenever you are using any malloc function, what it will do, it will create a memory. So here it's integer, so it will create a 4 bytes of a memory, and it will allocate it. Its starting value will be allocated to pointer variable. Okay, so here the integer memory address is created, and its address is transferred to ptr. Okay, and after that, after allocating the address, that pointer variable is freed, that memory is freed. Okay, so you are allocating some memory address to the pointer, and then you are deleting that memory. Still that pointer is available over here. Okay, it means what? Let me show you with let's say on this ppt. So let's say we have, whenever using a malloc function here, so some memory is allocated. Okay, and this memory you are assigning to, let's say, this memory you are assigning to the pointer variable. So this memory is assigned to this pointer variable. Okay, now once you have assigned this memory to the pointer variable, this pointer variable will point to this memory address. This pointer variable will point to this memory address. Now what you are doing, you are freeing that pointers. That means you are releasing the memory. So this memory will be deleted. This memory will be deleted from here. Now let's see. So this memory will be deleted. Still the pointer is pointing to some unknown location here. Okay, because we haven't removed the pointer variable yet, so this pointer is still pointing to some memory location which is not available. That is what you call as a dangling pointer. Okay, so what will happen here, if you use this pointer in your code, it will give you some logical errors. Okay, because it's pointing to nothing. It is pointing to some place which is not available right now. Okay, so that is what you call as a dangling pointer. Now how to overcome this problem is, it's simple. If you use ptr is equals to null, this pointer points to nothing. So this memory where it is pointing, it will be set to null, so it will not point to any location. Okay, so this is how you can overcome the dangling pointer problem. I hope it's clear. So dangling pointer means what? You are pointing your pointer to some location which is not available, which is deleted, or which is free. Okay, so this free function which is used here is freeing the memory which is allocated. Okay, but still that pointer variable is pointing to that memory location, and that is what you call as a dangling pointer. So always understand, when this kind of things which are available in your code, whenever you are allocating some pointers to a memory which will not be available in the future, you should always assign it to null. Okay, so here, so no more a dangling pointer. Here you need to assign ptr is equals to null. Okay, so now let's see this uh, dangling pointer with an actual application. If you can see here, we have created one function integer star fun, and here we have created a variable integer a equals to 10, and we are returning the address of this a. Okay, so there will be some address like 1000, 2000, any random address there will be available here, and we are returning the address. Now if you can see here in the main function, integer star ptr is equals to null, right? Initially we have set pointer to null variable, then we are using the pointer variable, and we are calling the function. Okay, so when we are calling the function, this function will get execute. Okay, when this function will get execute, once this function returns the value, its existence will be finished, because this is the local function. Okay, this is the local function. This integer a variable is local, and that is limited to this function only. Integer a will not be accessible outside this function. Okay, so the existence of this a variable will be available in this only, in this function only. Okay, so when this function will return some address, the pointer will points to nothing, because the existence of this a variable is finished here. So the memory which is allocated to a variable will be vanished. So this pointer will points to the null memory location. This pointer will points to the location which is not available right now. Okay, so that is what is a dangling pointer. And when you try to run this type of code, you will get the segmentation fault type of an error, because that memory location is not available, because this function is a local function. It's not a global function. So once this function is executed and it is returned, then the existence of this function will be removed. The existence is removed, that means what? The variable which are available in this function, that will be deleted. So that memory existence will not be available. So if that memory location is not available, where the pointer will point? Okay, so that is what you call as a dangling pointer. Clear? And if you try to print the pointer, if you try to print the value of that memory location, you will get the segmentation fault error. Okay, so here when if you run this code, you will get the error as a segmentation fault, because this pointer is pointing to a variable a whose memory location is already removed or freed. Okay, so that is what you call as a dangling pointer. I hope you have understood this session. If you like this video, please, if you have understood this video, please like this video, and if you have some doubt, you can write it in a comment box. Thank you for watching.